So just wanted to make a couple notes on the multicam stuff that we're working on here. Try to polish this up a little bit, get you a little closer to where we need to be with the multicam. I know we've talked about some of the stuff before, but we're gonna. I may be repeating myself a little bit here, but so I'm looking here at the Heckman multicam, and so first and foremost, we don't need bride prep or groom prep to be multicammed, so you can ignore synchronizing and multicamming that. We also don't need the first look multicammed or synced either. You can sync it obviously if you want to use it for the edit or for the trailer, but we don't need it for the extras that we put together for them. Now this is a product that we're going to be giving to them, so we want it to be a clean end result end product. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but we want it as close to perfect as we can get based on the footage that we have available to us. So first and foremost, looking at this Heckman multicam sequence that you have here, it actually looks pretty good. The only thing we want to do here is give like 3 seconds of space between each clip. So we'll just, run this off a 3 count, 1, 1, 1, 2, and 3. Once we've got about 3 seconds of space, we'll move this away from it and kind of give it a little bit of space. We've got intros, first dances, and speeches all in that one clip. Then we'll want to do the same thing, run off about 3 seconds and push the cake cutting back as well. And then from the end of the cake cutting, we'll run off 3 seconds and we'll want to do the parent dances. Okay, so when we look at each of these sequences, there's a couple things we're going to need to do here. First of all, having this all in one multicam sequence is exactly what we're looking for. But I can tell just by looking at this sequence with all of the empty spaces here that aren't yellow, that there's some problems with the clips, and the same thing over here. So let's take a look at those. We're going to open up these, reveal it in project to get to the base nested clip. I'm going to double click the ceremony synced here and take a look. Now it looks like here that you didn't actually clip these pieces. Looks like we need to enable the multi-camera and then use the window multi-camera monitor to actually create the multicam that we need to do here. So it looks like this one right here, the multicam is synced, but we just haven't gotten to editing it yet. So what we want to do is go ahead and do that. But first, before you go ahead and edit it, we should probably start by chopping off the beginning and end of it. There's a lot of excess footage here, as you can see, as we're just looking at one camera angle of this tree. That's completely unnecessary. So what you want to do is, with the ceremony especially and everything else, scroll forward till you get to the actual beginning of the ceremony. Probably somewhere around here would be the actual beginning of the ceremony. Let's take a look here. Multi-camera, give me camera 2. Multi-camera, give me camera 3. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to find where the ceremony actually first starts. And I think that it's pretty safe to say that when these guys come in will be the moment that they first start. So we're watching the camera at the top to get an idea of when people are actually entering. And there it is. We see the guys coming down the aisle for the first time. That's the actual true start of the ceremony. So we'll use the C tool to cut straight down and remove all the excess up at the front. We'll then push this whole thing back. And now we just want to find the end time of the actual ceremony. And the end time could be good enough to when the bride and groom come down the aisle for the first time. In fact, if you have enough footage of everybody else coming down the aisle, we'll use that too. So looking here, this is a good end time. We're going to cut this, and then we're going to delete it down. So now we're only really working with the footage of the actual ceremony. Again, I can certainly see here there's still 1, 2, 3 empty spaces of video, so that means that there would be no cameras rolling in that section, and it'll be blank footage. So when the bride and groom are watching this, it'll just turn into a black space, which we don't want to have happen. The next thing that you're going to want to do is clean up the audio, and the way we clean up the audio with the extras disc is to take the cleanest audio track, the best audio track we have, the most continuous audio track we have, and move it up to the first audio track. When you use the multi-camera monitor and synchronization, it actually only includes the first audio tracks. So what we're going to want to do here is put the best audio we have in place of audio track 1 and 2. I think this STE00 will be the best audio we have. So I'll just real quickly mute the remaining audio and just listen through it for a few seconds.
Today. Family and friends. Welcome to the blending of two hearts.
That's absolutely perfect. That's great audio there. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to swap places. Take this audio track here and bring it down to get it out of the scene. And then with the open space here, we're going to pull this up to the top. And just for cleanliness, we'll move this in place over here. Okay. From there, we can kick all the audio tracks on. Okay. Because when we do this multi-camera monitor, the actual multicam will only take into account the first audio track. So you can see here. What we'll also want to do here is, just like we did in the past with these, is probably just pull down the extra audio here, just because we're not going to need them for much. We'll use them for a little blending if we need to, but for right now, let's just drag all the audio clips down that we're not going to be using. We can leave them in there synchronized in case we have to pull them in, but at this point, I'm just going to stick with the clean audio that we have. So we'll pull that down. If you want to pull in one source of audio from the cameras and just give it like maybe a couple decibels increase, just so we have some sort of ambient audio as well, we could do that. That's no problem.
And understanding throughout your lives together. It is a union of two hearts.
So the audio is clean here, and when we go back to the multicam, we'll see that when we listen to it,
with you all,
the audio sounds great. So all this excess from the multicam can be clipped off, leaving the ceremony at the length that it's supposed to be. Again, right here, let's give it a 3-second roll. Okay, and put some space between these guys. Same thing with the cake cutting. Okay. So when you go in and do these, you want to do the same thing with the intros and first dances as well. Go in and open them up. Find the actual beginning of the introductions. I mean, because right here we've got a whole bunch of excess of nothing. And the actual introductions don't happen until about here. You know, you can hear the DJ say,
"Good evening, ladies and gentlemen."
So right before here, all of this excess can actually be deleted. There's no reason to keep it. And you could just kind of delete it and slide it down. And the same thing with the end of the speeches.
Andre.
Okay. So we'll clip this end off and we'll get rid of the excess, so that when we go to the actual multicam, we're only actually seeing the part that is the clean and usable footage. Okay? So once we have all of this set up the way it's supposed to be, again, obviously in here with this intros and first dances, this stuff still needs to be nested. So we're going to grab it, right click, nest it, right click, multicam enable, and then we're going to use the window multi-camera monitor to then clip this using the best pieces of footage that we have. Now again, this is a product that we're going to be giving to the bride and the groom. So we want to make sure that it's not ever going to be perfect, but we want to get as much bad footage out as possible. So use the best available camera angles at each time and make sure that we have clean cuts where we need to. There's really no reason not to have, if there's two cameras that we're using and they're both shaking at the same time, there's not much you can do about that, but at least let's try to get it as clean as possible. When we're finished with the multi-camera here and everything is cleaned up the way it's supposed to be, we just want to finish off the ends of each of the video with an exponential fade, okay, and a dip to black. And then in between each piece, we're going to drop an encore chapter marker, okay? Once we've finished with everything, again, we're going to do the same thing here with an exponential fade, a dip to black, and then right between the two of them an encore chapter marker. So what I should get when I get it from you is one multicam sequence with all the multicammed pieces on them, and then each one of them should be multicammed and cut the way they're supposed to be, and the best audio should be pushed to the top in the first two sequences and the first two audio pieces. Like for example, this one right here is perfect. The audio tracks, actually no, it's not perfect, I apologize. We're actually going to take this audio and bring it all the way down, pull it down, and then bring up the clean audio into those two spaces. So that the first two tracks are audio. And then what we should be able to do is come in here, set the volume here to double zeros, and I think if we just copy that, we should be able to paste attributes and they'll all go to double zeros on the audio except for this clean audio track. It looks like the zoom, oh, I'm sorry, let me see it for a second. I'm going to actually pull up these audio tracks here.
Take your seats, make some noise, and direct your attention to the main entrance.
Okay, so we're using the best, cleanest audio on it that we have, and it's in the top two positions, audio track 1 and audio track 2. And so when we go to the multicam and we watch the intros and first dances, we're getting clean audio. And more importantly, there's no gaps in the audio, because that's what'll happen is when we record it and we actually write it to disk, it'll actually have cuts in it. And that's it. So when I get this back, I should have a Heckman multicam. It should be all clipped, it should be all cut, and it should all be cleaned up, so that all I have to do is then send it into Adobe Dynamic Link to Encore and make the extras disk. Thank you.